Leaders in Conversation with Nomie Nxumalo.
Hello, welcome back to yet another episode of Leaders in Conversation with Nomie Nxumalo. Today I've got Nomie Nxumalo, who is the head of transformation at MiWay Insurance Limited. She's going to be taking us through her career journey. And we are really going to delve into transformation, the importance of transformation, and how companies can deploy strategies in order to effect, these transformation changes which are needed in corporate South Africa. Thank you, Nomie.
Thank you so much
and welcome.
For having me.
And thank you really for traveling all the way from KZN to be here with us.
It's a lovely day in Johannesburg, and I'm glad it's warmer than what it was meant
and it's such a pleasure,
right?
hey?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So take us through your own career journey. Just take us through what you studied and why did you study what you studied, and really run us through that career and your corporate journey.
Yeah. So after leaving high school, obviously the first plan was to go and become an accountant because I was ambitious black girl who wanted to become accountant. Become an accountant,
chartered accountant,
a big girl in the chartered accountancy space. And I tell you, Nomie, after 2 years, I realized it was not me. It was not me.
Definitely.
I had a scholarship with one of the big auditing firms at that time, and part of that is that you actually do VAC work.
Yes.
And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And now because you're not failing at the institution that I was studying at, they were like, but you're not failing. And I'm like, I hate it. And I was in tears.
And you couldn't understand why you hated?
No, I knew. It was impersonal. It was cold. Everybody hated speaking to the auditors.
Yeah.
There was almost like, the auditors are here type of vibe. And I didn't like that. That wasn't who I was. And I'm grateful that I made the switch.
Yes.
And at that point, obviously, industrial psychology was not on our radar. I mean, who knew about industrial psychology,
yes.
right? But the counselors at the varsities, they took me aside and they said, okay, you've got two options. You can either do marketing or you can do industrial psychology. Yeah. And at that time, I felt marketing, everybody's doing marketing. So I chose the road less traveled.
Yes, yes.
And I must tell you, leaving varsity, you've got this very big head, egotistical thought that the first thing you're going to go into HR.
It's a management
role, and I'm a big girl, I'm there, I've arrived, And it was a very humbling experience, so very humbling. So my first job was a sales administrator.
Yes,
can you believe that, right? So I was there, and I did a lot of their reporting more than anything. But what I was grateful for is, I think, it sort of began my journey of great mentorship.
Yes.
Because my boss at that time, he had a PA, but would ask me to make him tea.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, Buddhi, do you realize I've got a degree?
And then you're asking me to make, tea.
And I'm not your tea lady, So instead of being offended by it, I thought, you know what, I don't have time to argue with the old man. So I made him tea. And those tea moments were one of the pivotal conversations we would have.
Wow.
Because he would make me sit with him while he drank his tea. And it was conversations. We would discuss his reports. We would discuss his board presentations. So he was almost that first taste into really big corporate and how to hold yourself, how to behave, you know. A lot of times when I had issues, I'd run it past him and he would really back and forth. It wasn't a formal mentorship.
So he became your mentor,
yes,
actually.
Yes.
Unofficial?
Very unofficial.
Unappointed.
Unappointed, unwanted, and everything. But I think that was the first greatest relationship that I had with a male leader who understood what it is like coming in fresh out of varsity. And from there, I think it evolved. I then moved into Access, and then I moved into human resources. And even then, the CEO was amazing in terms of where he was. He was already speaking transformation then, and Triple BEE had just
Started, yeah.
And so it was a very new thing, but he was really into it, heart and soul.
Yeah.
I then moved from there into banking and insurance. So until
now, where you are the head of transformation.
Where I'm the head of transformation at MiWay. Yeah.
So tell me, when you were an sales administrator at the time, what skills do you think that you've taken out of that experience?
Analysis. Analysis. And I cannot tell you how valuable that skill was. Is still today, you know. So one of the biggest things I always, even my team knows, the first thing is like, let the numbers tell a story. You know?
Interpret the data.
Interpret the data. Yes, I know I've got 2 people in my team, but what does that mean? What am I supposed to glean out of it? Can it tell a story? Does it give us the background? Yes, we've taken 5 SMMEs through an ESD program, but what does it mean for their lives? What's the story behind it?
Yes.
What's the big impact?
Value?
Yeah. So, and that's where a lot of people miss this big data thing. It's, you know, people assume that data is all about punching the numbers, but it's really allowing numbers to tell a rich story for you. So for me, I get excited when somebody gets it, you know.
And because you've developed the skill over the years.
Yeah. And now it makes sense, you know. At first I was like, okay, VLOOKUP,
yes.
you know, and you're starting to learn all these very fancy, and I mean, we didn't have computers, you know, growing up, and all of a sudden you've got these technical things that you actually learning, and how to use the data and how to interpret the data. That was very, for me.
And it's critical. I mean, when you look at the current research where it's telling you what are the future skills required for the workforce of tomorrow, and data analysis and data interpretation is a big one sitting there.
I mean, to a point where in my team, I have a data analyst.
Wow.
I mean, how do you talk about creating products for the underserved market if you do not have the data, right? But what's more important is getting a data scientist of color, or at least who understands the market that we're talking about. Of that market, you know? So if they understand the dynamics of the previously uninsured market, they understand things like self-insurance because your neighbor is watching over your house, you know. They understand that you cannot insure a shack because we are a people who are aspirational, you know. So those type of things. So it's really important, and I think for me that's definitely a skill that's going into the future.
No, definitely, I take that. So you went on to study executive development program at the Wits Business School and graduated in 2019. How important was this decision for you or for your career?
One, it was about, and I'll tell you, I was pregnant when I did this.
Okay.
I was very pregnant. But it was a story that I wanted to tell my unborn child. It was a story that you're never too old for education. You're never too mature. You're never too advanced in your work career life for education, you know. So now I'm thinking, okay, what next, you know, to study. But for me, what was critical is just the networking and understanding various areas of business, because I think we get so involved in our own business that we don't step back and look at what's happening around you in terms of South Africa and other corporates, what's happening around you globally, you know, and having different perspectives. So that must have been one of the best decisions I took for myself, is to do that.
Are you going to study further?
Yes.
What are you looking to study?
I'm a sucker for punishment. I'm not sure. I'm torn between a master's or just going straight to MBA, you know. So I'm like,
currently doing my MBA. So
yeah, so you understand.
I actually went from executive development program to doing an MBA.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It made sense for me. Yeah.
And for me, I think that because it's a global thinking process, right? And it just, the different people that you meet there is more valuable than actually, and I hate to say this, the actual content.
Yes,
but you know, and the conversations that you get to have with other leaders.
Yes, it's the conversations.
You know, somebody said, yeah, it's not just about talking; it's about dialoguing. And really getting into the heart of what is plaguing.
And dialoguing with other passionate people, like-minded people like you, professionals like you.
Because they wouldn't have been there.
Yes, yes, right? If they were not as enthusiastic as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is leadership? What does leadership mean to you? And what are the traits of a future leader? I mean, this is a leadership conversation,
Yeah.
leadership podcast. So we've got to delve into leadership.
You know, leadership for me is really about unlocking talent.
Yeah.
You know, there is nothing as fulfilling as seeing somebody that you either mentored or was in your team, and they are making it out there, you know, and they are doing the most. And you hear, for me, it's not even about you. It's outside of you. It's service to humanity.
I love that, service.
It's service to humanity, because I think if you understand...
And it's bigger than you.
It's so much bigger because, you know, it's purpose driven, right? So if you understand that you were created to unlock talent and to enable others to see who they are, because a lot of times, I mean, we grew up with not really, I mean, I'm grateful to the Dennis Prestons of the world who mentored me fresh out of varsity. But if you're going to come into a space, you're fresh out of varsity, you know nothing really. Having somebody grow you and allowing you to blossom and being okay with you even exceeding them.
Yes.
Right?
That's true leadership. That's how it's measured.
That is true leadership. You know,
Yes.
where somebody says, I like who you've become. And that is,
and creating that enabling environment for you to become.
It's an enabling environment. And I think if leaders could understand that it's not about, yes, the numbers are important, but once people realize their talent, once people realize who they are and how much value they bring to the table, the numbers come.
Yes, yes. And I believe that the numbers come.
The numbers come.
As long as you hone the leadership skills and you unlock that talent.
That's it.
The numbers, the results just come.
The numbers definitely come.
I agree with you. We are going to a short ad break and we'll be back shortly. We are speaking to Nomie Nxumalo, who is the head of transformation at MiWay Insurance Limited. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
If you're about to get married, then it's crucial that you hear what I'm about to say. Your wedding day shouldn't just be an event. It's the day when the story of your love journey is shared among family and friends. And trust me, you need this to be captured beautifully because let's face it, your uncle's dance moves might not be as impressive the second time around. And to capture those precious moments, videography and photography are the most essential components of your wedding day. Now let me be honest with you. I know firsthand that videography and photography services can be often quite pricey. But fear not, because as the founder of Villagens, I am here to change that. I believe that capturing your love story should be affordable and accessible to everyone. That's why I personally offer wedding packages with flexible monthly payment plans, tailored to fit your budget without compromising on the quality you deserve. But what truly sets Villagens apart is our passion for storytelling. I don't just press the record button. I immerse myself in your love story, discovering the emotions, the connections, the love that makes your love story unique. Imagine reliving the tears of joy, the laughter, the heartfelt moments every time you watch your wedding video. That's the personal touch I bring to every project. So if you're ready to embark on this unforgettable journey and to create a love story that will be cherished for a lifetime, look no further. As the founder of Villagens, I am committed to making your wedding day an everlasting celebration of your unique love story. Let's connect on a personal level as I capture the essence of your love, the moments that truly matter. So together, let's make your wedding day an unforgettable experience. To get started, reach out to me directly. You can email me or send me a WhatsApp text. We at Villagens are looking forward to being part of your love story. Remember, at Villagens, your dream wedding is within reach.
Welcome back from an ad break. We are sitting with Nomie Nxumalo. She is the head of transformation at MiWay Insurance Limited. We are having a chat about her career journey, what are the traits of leadership, and of course taking us through transformation, which is something that we are going to get to shortly. So what has your journey in corporate been like as a female, especially black female? And what are some of the challenges that you had encountered while climbing the corporate ladder?
Sure. I think the biggest one is that women are our own, we are our own enemies. More than the men, we are the ones who actually block each other off from growing, from becoming. And it's sad that we've gotten to that stage, right? Because you would think that you understand, but there's almost that mentality that, you know, we can't show the men that we are weaker, therefore I need to be more aggressive than the man. So that's the first thing. The second one is really around how to show up authentically. A lot of times, because you're growing and you're moving in the corporate, you know, there's almost this unwritten rule that you have to be one of the boys. You know, if the corporate is a cycling corporate, then all of a sudden you start cycling. If a corporate is a golfing corporate, you start golfing. And I think it's important to retain your authenticity throughout your journey in growing into corporate and the various leadership positions. Because once you lose the essence of who you are, you're not going to deliver the best results. Because you've lost yourself.
You've lost yourself in the process.
You've lost yourself. So that's really one of the biggest challenges that I've found as a woman growing up in corporate. The other thing is, I thought it was way back when that we work hard.
Yes,
you extra work hard.
You would actually be, promoted or, for working hard.
You know, and the thing is it really necessary, you know?
Not in 2023.
Not in 2023, right? Is it, how do we work smarter? How do we then balance? And there's no such a thing as balance, really, you know? But how do we be in a space, you know? So if you're home, how am I fully present at home? And how am I fully present at work? And being authentically me in that space. And I think once we get to do that, and teach the ones coming after us to present themselves as themselves. That will free so many people. And you know, growing up in corporate as well, the other challenge that we're faced with is the money issue. We lie about it, but it's there. We are underpaid as women in corporate, right? So you do studies, you go to any corporate and you actually measure what the men are making. And it's a psychological thing that we need to get over. And it's also because women tend to be more accepting. Whereas the men will go, they have
and negotiate and renegotiate.
No problem in asking for what they think they're worth. And the minute somebody asks you, so what's your current package and what are you looking at? Do you know what the first thing we say is, I'm earning this much, but I'm negotiable. Like, why are you negotiable? Why are you negotiable?
If you are taking up a broader, responsibility.
It's broader scope.
Yes.
It's more work. You have a talent. You have a skill that you're actually bartering here, you know? So can the money follow?
Yes. Would you say it's part of imposter syndrome? That we don't know yet our capability as women?
We know our capability, but we're shy to own it.
Okay. Love that.
You absolutely know who you are, right? But the minute somebody starts questioning it, you question it yourself. And that has led us so many steps backward. It stopped us from being aggressive in going after roles that we want. It's exploring different areas and businesses within the business. You will not go there because, we don't go there,
Only man.
Be a good little girl and stay where you are. This is your job profile, stay where you are. Whereas the men would be given opportunities outside what their scope is. In fact, they're not given, they go and take them.
Grab them.
They grab them, even if it's yours.
You're right.
So if we would learn how to overcome that feeling of I'm not worthy, I even got myself a t-shirt that reminds me every day that says I'm worthy. And another one says I'm enough, purely because, you need those reminders on a daily basis to affirm yourself.
Yes.
You're worth it.
And it's easy for corporate to just swallow you, right?
Listen, if I can pay you less, why am I going to come and scream and tell you come? Because it's killing my menex, right? So I'm going to tell you, no, you happy with your salary? Stay there, So I'm not going to come and offer you more. unless you come and ask for more. It's the same with the work that you do. You're not going to be given more unless you ask
raise your
for
hand.
more. Raise your hand.
Yes, yes. Do you find that women are raising their hands more, or we still afraid to even raise our hands?
Still afraid to raise our hand. We are so afraid to we almost have been taught that you must sit, be a good little, you know, like put your hands on your, you know, poise yourself
up.
and wait for somebody to pick you. It's the games we played as kids.
Yes,
you know, where you got picked for a team. That was a problem. That's where our problems began.
Started, yes.
That's where it began. Because had we not waited to be chosen, and you chose the team you wanted to be on, imagine how
the
different
mentality would have been
our
different.
mindset would have been. Because, you know, you're sitting there and you're thinking, why am I waiting to be on that team? I want this.
I can actually curate my own team.
I can create this. I mean, I created my role. I moved from human resources into transformation, into business development and product innovation.
Wow.
I asked for it. In fact, I didn't ask for it. I told them I was going to do it. But it took years to get to that space. It took years to build that confidence to say, hi, Kalok, I can have a voice.
And I'm deserving of it.
And I'm
And I'm
bringing so
capable.
much. You don't know, you know, you don't know what I know.
Yeah.
So if we can get women to realize that, we would definitely be way far.
And be very far. Yeah.
Way further.
I agree. So you're currently occupying the head of transformation at MiWay Insurance Limited. What does that role entail, and how important is transformation in South Africa?
So my role is very, you know, a lot of people assume when you start saying transformation, it's internal and it's black people and white people and gender and all of that, and race, and it's way bigger than that. It's about representativity. It's about ensuring that you have the right people for the roles that they employed in. And let me give you this example.
Yeah.
If, for example, you are going to go to Afrikaans as vertrouwelijk, or there's a festival that happens there, right? And you're like me, very limited in your Afrikaans knowledge, right? How much success will you have as an African woman who cannot speak, and I'm not talking Northwest women who speak proper Afrikaans, you know, Xhosa girl who cannot speak an ounce of Afrikaans, how successful would she be at selling anything there?
Very limited chances of being successful.
Right? So wouldn't you rather have an Afrikaans male with the shorts and the khaki, you know, like it's a stereotype, yes, you know, but in the same vein, who understands the township market than somebody who grew up in the township?
The person who grew up in the township.
Preferably still lives in the township, because, you know, some of us have moved on and we've forgotten what it's like to be there. So how do you design products for that? Because it's really what it's all about. Transformation is an enabler in addressing the needs of our consumers. Finish. And can you hear? I have not included black, white. No, it's everybody. It's making sure
the needs of
our people. If we're looking at service providers, whether they be brokers, whether they be, you know, your motor body repairers, are they the right people? Should we not have motor body repair shops in the townships that are accredited by VW or other big, you know,
brands?
Big brands. Shouldn't we have them in the townships, right? And so for me, that's what transformation is about. It's that understanding, that intrinsic understanding of bringing diversity and inclusion.
I love that, diversity and inclusion.
To the bottom line.
To the bottom line, yes.
Because that's all, we're all about the money. We're all about the bottom line.
Right. Tell me, do you feel that your ideas were heard in corporate? I mean, as a transformation leader, there's an element of advocacy that you bring to the table.
Yes.
I mean, advocacy in terms of people from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, people that were less fortunate, or people that did not have the opportunities way back then.
Yeah.
So do you think that your ideas were always heard, or you had to fight your way through in order for you to be understood, etc.?
Not always unheard. You know, it's like those soft, almost support service areas. They're not the money makers, so their voice is not as easily heard in the business sense. But there's another element to it. that you know, I want to caution people when they're wanting to make their voice heard. It's about organizational readiness. Is the organization ready to hear what you have to say? Right? Because I could be saying the same thing for 3 years, and then suddenly, out of the blue, the light goes on. Because the organization had not matured enough to hear what you were trying to say at that time.
How do we assess the maturity of the organization? So now I'm getting into the transformation space. I'm new in the space. I've got all these big ideas in terms of how an organization can transform. How do I know that the organization is ready, to take up my ideas?
Do people know what you do?
For more from Leaders in Conversation with Nomie Changa, you can continue listening to the rest of this episode on your audio streaming service app. Our podcast is available on various audio streaming platforms. Details in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.